It's the 22nd day of October 2013, and I guess this one, I mean, this overlay, this is a picture of the moon reversed over the Earth, as I always show. And what I did is I basically, here's this picture right now, where's it at? Right here, okay. I showed in my last video, I showed this over China over Australia, right? This is China over Australia, because you see they share the same land shape. Absolutely do. You see how this up here in China, right here, this area, that area right there, you see how it matches this area somewhat? You can see that they were together or shaped by the same thing, at least. Okay, so I also know that here in Mongolia, this area here where you see this big curve, you can go up here, we'll just go up here so you can see it properly. We're in the right place. You see this big curve, and you used to be able to see it better actually. This curve, there's like a circular shape here. You used to be able to see it better on Google Earth, but you can still see it. You see this edge anyway. So anyway, down here, I just, you know, I know the south pole of the moon hits the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau. I know that. I already know that because here's how I know that. Here's how I know. Put this over, you can just see it. You can see it's the same shape. Watch. See the curve right here? See this curve comes back, and then you see the Schrodinger right there? Watch. They call that the steppe right there. It's they call it the steppe in Mongolia. Okay, there's the Schrodinger crater. Just look at the whole thing. The whole thing fits there. This is the moon at about the size of the Earth, pretty much. It's pretty close to the size of the Earth, or at least very minimum a Mars-sized planet. But I think it's bigger than that because you see how that fits China or Asia or whatever you want to call that right there beautifully, right? It goes there. It definitely goes there. There's no way that the moon has that shape and the Earth has that shape, and it's just coincidence. There's no way. Stop thinking that way. There's no way. You get this, you take this and look at that. I mean, it just fits there. There's no way, people. No way. There's no way that it just fits that good. Right in the middle of the Tibetan Plateau, you see, right? And then when I take the China picture away, let's just look at it over Australia. Same thing. See the Schrodinger crater there? Right here, you see it, the whole big round circle right there. See that? That's a perfect circle. I may still have it just a tad too big, but I don't think so. I think it's pretty good. All this comes up to the point right there. It goes here. It absolutely goes here. It's a picture of the moon reversed over the Earth. I mean, look, if you study the moon, if you were going to, someone said, I want you to figure out where those big craters on the moon came from. I want you to find out what put those big craters all over the moon, because these are big craters that you see. They're not just like this. It's like the whole side of the moon, actually, that is the impact. If someone told you to do that, where would the first place, what would be the first thing you would do? I'm telling you, the first thing I would do is I would look at the Earth. The Earth is close to the moon, so that's the first thing I would check. I would start by just looking at each one and just trying to figure it out with my eye, how, you know, things backwards. But then I would do the overlays like this. I would take pictures of the lunar surface, reverse them, and put them over the Earth, which is what I started doing about 3 years ago. And when I first started doing it, I tried to stick to the size of the moon that they say, because that's what I figured. If that's the size, then I got to stick with that size. But then I was in Africa. I couldn't do that. It was too obvious in Africa. But they've changed it since then. It's not near as obvious. They've totally changed it so that you can't. They make it harder. At first they made it easier, then they made it harder to see the prints on the Earth. Absolutely, Google Earth has been fixed that way. They fix it that way because they catch on. People are looking at this. Guaranteed. Google Earth does take screenshots of what you're looking at. Absolutely. You see the screen flash once in a while. They do screenshot your screen. Anyways, that goes right there over Australia. That hits Australia and other continents. Obviously, it had to hit China at the same time. Had to hit China at the same time. Had to, because there's Schrodinger right there in place. It lines up with Australia just right. It fits this just right. It was at the same time. Had to be. Or unless you think they were hit separately to create that shape, which is possible. Could have hit both continents separately, but I doubt it. I don't see how you could get it. It would be impossible to get the exact same shape 2 times. Even if the same part of the moon hit a different place on Earth, it would totally be a different shape. The impact could never be the same. So there it is. You see that? You see that is this. And you got to remember, this is what they give you. This is not what it looks like. But even just this being what they give you, you can still see it pretty clearly. Just back up from your monitor. I'll go slow. Look, take a look. That hits there, people, and creates the Himalayas, or the Himalayas were already there, whatever, from another impact, whatever. But that hits both places. Both places. Australia too. As we can see, the subduction in the ocean. These are from impacts. This stuff is from impacts. The subduction starts out by the moon hitting the Earth 13 times, people. 13 times. I'm going to go over it one more time on the moon. I'm going to show you. One more time on the moon. Because now that we can see that the moon is bigger, just by showing what I just showed you, and every other crater that I've fit on the Earth, and they do fit on the Earth, I'm telling you, at least 5 times bigger than they say. Which would make it bigger than the Earth, wouldn't it? Okay, so these are all impacts with Earth. 13. I'm saying 13 times because that's the reason number 13 is unlucky. And I'm just saying that the crystal skull thing I've seen where they showed the impacts or the places they found them on the Earth coincide with the places where the moon has hit the Earth each time, at least. Okay, there's one right there, at least one. Here's another one. 2. South Pole 3. So there's 3. This is probably one here. I'd say that's one. 4, 5, 6. I think this is one. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The other 2 would be kind of hard to find. They're probably in here. Copernicus type deal or something. This is probably more than. It's probably hard to find a couple in this one because it's so big. Let's say there's at least 2 in here that are missing. That would be in this area somewhere. Tycho's 1, 2. Tycho, right there, boom. Tycho. Okay, so now there's just 1. So 13 times, and that's just a number. I didn't just grab that number because I saw that many craters on the moon. I'm just saying there are that many impacts on the moon, and I got that number from somewhere else. It just kind of came to me. 13 times at least. At least. That's why 13 is unlucky. I know. The moon doesn't hit the Earth. I know. I'm just crazy. I just try to point this out over and over again, just showing you this like incredible overlays of things that just fit very, very good. And it's like I don't even have to try to put them to line them up. They just do because I recognize the shape and I put it in place and it just does fit. It just does. So either this lunar image of the moon is fake, and there's a lot of these images out there that must be all fake, or the Earth is drawn up on Google Earth fake, or the weather, and the weather would have to be fake too. So if that's all fake, then I guess I've been fooled. Guess I've been fooled. I mean, I'm not. I know what's going on. I can see it. I guess a lot of people just don't want to. I guess I've tried to show it over and over, and some people just don't want to see it. another place where South Pole. You could put this probably up there in the Marianas Trench. It's probably the same impact, maybe not. Because unless you think this hit Australia here where Australia is today, and it also hit here, right? And it also hit the Marianas Trench, and it also hit over here in the western United States, and it also hit over here in Africa, and in South America. All them places, I think it was more like a couple of impacts when they were all together in the same place, and then they've been spread out by more recent impacts. Like Imbrium was, I think Imbrium is an ocean impact myself. So I think it was right. I think it impacted the Gulf of the edge of Imbrium is the Gulf of Alaska here, and I've also seen it down here by Antarctica right here. Schrodinger, wasn't it Schrodinger? What I'm talking about there? No, Imbrium. That's right. So anyways, just wanted to point that out. Antarctica directly has been hit. Antarctica is a direct hit. That's why there's always it's at the South Pole, and that's why there's always this crazy weather in the way, and they're always trying to hide something there. Always. See, like this, they're always hiding something there. The gray shit, always, because you can always line up a beautiful alignment down there. And up here they hide stuff too, but you know, like right here, see that triangle? It probably shows something in this big patch here, right in here. Oh yeah, there's Iceland. If it's showing Iceland, because Schrodinger hits here too. That's why I forgot all about that one. Schrodinger, right at the curve, probably creates Iceland. You see how Iceland is kind of like the shape of a tornado? Not a tornado, but a hurricane. I bet you that would go right in the center of Schrodinger. We should do that. I've done it before, but I should do it again. So let's do it. Okay, so just gonna save that. I've already done this before, and it does fit. I'll save it. Iceland. Okay, I already have a word two. Okay, so Schrodinger, I'll use the one in the middle of over here in the Pacific. This one here, in Marianas Trench. I'll use this one. I think I have it overlaid new, somewhere right here. Okay. Iceland is roughly is like 300 miles across, right? So it's got to be like 300 miles. Pick up here. Goes in there some way. This way or that way. Maybe it goes like this. Oh yeah, it probably goes right there where the big volcano is in Iceland right there. It'd probably go right over the top of that black spot. I doubt it. See the edge of it. This part up here. I gotta measure, make sure I'm at the right size. That's about right. Yeah, it looks like it fits in there pretty good. Watch, I'll move it up a little bit. Yep, I think that's it. Something like that. Anyways, I think it goes right in there because I've showed it up there before. Right up here, where the curve is of Greenland, right here. Schrodinger hits right here. Boom. Probably does create the island of Iceland. Okay, well, anyways, I showed you enough in the beginning. If you watched it this far, you got a good idea of what I've shown already. Check it out yourself and show some support by commenting and subscribing and liking the video. I know it's not that great a video, but you know, it just gets the word out there to more people. All right.